Hey gang, John Bacarella here with your Lake St. Clair Fishing Report, brought to you by Sportsmen's Direct. It is Thursday, November 10th, and it's probably going to be the last at least the last warm evening that we're going to have, and we've got a major weather change coming. Water temperature right now is 53 degrees at Belle Isle. Satellite image is showing quite a bit more color in the water than what we had, and you would expect that because we had a huge blow earlier this week. I forget what day it was, Sunday, or yeah, I think it was on Sunday that we had that. No, I take that back. I think it was Saturday we had that huge blow. Anyways, we've had a lot of wind. We've had some pretty stable winds during the week here. At least they've been a little bit more favorable. You guys have been able to get out. But the big thing is going to be that we're going to have a massive cold snap coming. And I mean, the weather has been crazy. It's been so crazy out there. It's been almost as crazy as the cast vote record graph for Michigan governor race on Tuesday, if you can believe that. Yeah, the weather's been absolutely nuts. And but we are going to start to get some really cold nights in here, okay? So we're going to start to get nights in the 20s, highs in the 40s, and that is going to change a lot. But I guess I'll try to work that in as we talk about what's been going on. So I follow Mike Coleman a lot. He's a shore angler here locally. And man, I was kind of teasing him in that last report about catching largemouth bass. And Mike is finally catching muskies again, but he's still catching walleyes on those Medusas. So, I mean, there are walleyes all over the lake right now. I keep talking about fishing from shore, even down here along the main lake. I've talked about starting up at Brandenburg and any other shore access you can get all the way down to the Detroit River and really all the way up the St. Clair River as well. John Hallams was out this week. He did exactly that from shore in one of those spots that I actually just mentioned, and he did really good. He pulled a really nice mess of really fat November walleyes. And I mean, this time of the year, these fish are so thick. You can catch a fish that's actually a couple of pounds heavier when it gets up into that, 27, 28 inch range, a couple of pounds heavier than it would be during the summertime. It's pretty amazing. Once they start feeding on all these shad, and they're actually starting to get early stages of egg development at this point for the spring, but they really are going to be fat. So this is about some of the heaviest weights you're going to see on these fish is the fall going into the freeze up. So, if you have a chance, even if your boat's out of the water, grab that 7-foot medium action rod, load it up with like 10-pound test line or braid, and go out from shore and cast like bombers or swim baits. I mean, I really like to throw bombers. You can throw Rapalas too, the bigger sizes, and just slow roll those things. And you don't have to fish deep. You're generally fishing pretty shallow, and roll them slow. And you can have a lot of fun right now. It's something to do, in the evenings. It gets dark earlier now, so it's not like you're going to be out late. You can be back home with a limit of fish, by 9 o'clock. So, and it keeps the wife and everybody happy because you're not out all night doing it like you sometimes would have to earlier in the season. So anyways, that's enough about the walleye short casting. So they're still catching fish up in the St. Clair River. Whippers are still getting them. The guys from shore are catching them. They're getting them all the way up to the Blue Water Bridge, throwing those heavy sinkers, those set lines out there. So just about any way you want to fish, they're catching fish up there. And I would expect it's still going to get better for a while here because the water's still relatively warm at 53 degrees, but it's going to definitely start cooling off rapidly from here on out. So that's the walleye action, all the way down to the Detroit River as well. Perch action, guys, we're still getting out last week. Although it seems like, the volume of guys going out is definitely going way down just because of the weather and a lot more guys that are hunting. But the fish are still there. I've had reports now of fish in as tight as 8 feet of water for the guys in the boat. So, although I know a lot of guys are still fishing out for those deeper fish, but there are fish in tight. So I would expect to start seeing you guys as you start hitting these canals, starting getting more and more reports of fish in the canals all up and down the lake. There's no reason for it now. The bait fish are there. The bait fish are all over the place. We haven't seen bait fish like this in many years. There's huge numbers of shad and emerald shiners, and that's one of the things is, sometimes you have too much bait, and these fish really have got just so much food that the bite is off. So it's kind of you're trying to find the fish almost, if you can time it, if you're lucky enough to time it, when those fish find the bait fish and you get in on one of those feeding frenzies. Otherwise, sometimes you're having to coax these fish into eating more than really what they want to right now. One of the other guys I watch all the time, Garrett Samsel, he's been out there. They are still pulling easy limits of walleye up there on the north end. Also catching quite a few muskies. I mean, this is the time of the year, again, for you shorecasters. If you want to get out and you're not like a true diehard lake muskie fisherman with all the equipment out on the boat, now's the time where you can do it. You can even do it with heavy bass tackle and just kind of like your bigger sized bass baits. So this is a great time to get out there and fish from shore for these muskies. Those same areas that you'd be fishing for the walleyes in the evenings, you can catch muskies at night as well. I've done it many times casting for walleyes, but even in the middle of the day. So this is something you can get out and in the middle of the day on your lunch hour, go down and cast for muskies and, you know, get one of those bucket fish taken off your list. So it's a great opportunity for that. Also, northern pike. I noticed that in Garrett's one of his last posts. They got a big northern. This is the time of the year out here on the lake that you can target these big northerns. And when I talk about big northerns, I'm talking about fish over 36 inches, usually 36 to 40 inches. It's kind of tough to get one over 40, but there's a lot of fish in that 39-ish range class out here on St. Clair, and this is a prime time to get those big northerns. Same areas as we're talking about for muskies and walleyes, although I generally like to fish if I can find an area that's still got some standing weeds, that's leaving a foot or two of water over those weed tops, slow rolling like a spinner bait, or even one of these bombers or kind of a downsized muskie bait over tops of these weed beds. If you can find pockets in those weeds, it's like a great thing, or along the weed edges. The weed edge, especially up on that north end of the lake, up in there in Anchor Bay area, there's still going to be some weeds that are going to be holding out a little bit deeper, maybe 10, 11, 12 feet of water. It's a great place to target these big northerns this time of the year, and they are going to be hungry. So, and you don't have all the boat traffic and all the other garbage that you contend with during the summer months. So this is a great time to go out and target a big northern. Let's see. What else do I want to talk about? Well, most of the boats are out of the marinas now. Still had a couple of boats in the marina back behind Selfridge. So hopefully, if those boats are gone, then I will make an announcement on Facebook. So watch our Sportsman's Direct Facebook page. And as soon as you guys are allowed to go back in that marina, I will post something up there on that Sportsman's Direct page. I was hoping to have a report for you today, but there was still a boat or two back there. So it's just, you know, it is what it is. When we do open that marina up again this year, it's going to be the same rules as it's been. You're going to have to check in with us at the store in order to go back there and sign in so that we can keep track of who's back there in the marina. It's going to still be a pay to park or purchase in the store, although that is going to go up a little bit this year from what it's been. That's just the nature of the beast with everything going on. So, but I will post that on our Sportsman's Direct page as soon as I can confirm that we can let you guys start going back there. Until then, that's closed off still going into that marina. So, but dock fishing in all of these marinas now is really going to take off now. Most of the boats are out. So for you guys with the kayaks, or if you have access into any of these small marinas, now is the time to go. You can get into them from the lake with some of your, you know, your bigger boats. I mean, you know, 14, 16 foot boats, you can get into most of these marinas. Just remember that if you're in these marinas, you cannot touch the docks or anchor or anything like that in these marinas. They get really, you know, really touchy about that. And technically, if you're touching these docks and any of their, you know, seawalls or anything, then you're trespassing. So you want to stay off. You don't want to contact any of that stuff in there. Just flip your baits up into the docks and all that, and you'll be good. You spot lock on your trolling motors, and everybody will be happy. So anyways, that's all I've got for you this week. We've got a lot of ice fishing stuff coming into the stores. We've got some shanties in there now. Although they've been coming in slow, but they've been going out fast. So if you're interested in a shanty, it kind of behooves you to stop in, check it out. We got some great deals on covers, shanty travel covers. I got a great deal on them, so I can pass a lot of savings on to you guys on some of those travel covers. Same thing with the Hyfax runner kits. We got a lot of stuff in there now. We got more coming in every day. So stop in, check out all that ice fishing stuff, and get it while you can. We'll see you in the shop this weekend. Hey, if you like this video content and you want to get updated as soon as the next video is out there, hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon, and you'll get notified as soon as the next video is up.